How you doing, guys? Warrior Season 2. It's my non-spoiler review, guys. I've been having a long think about this season. Long story short, I'm not a fan. The season isn't terrible, it's just something that I am not a fan of. And it boils down to two things. Action, the way the action was filmed specifically, and the feeling or the lack thereof it gave me. And character arcs. Now, one, with the action, this show, to be honest to me, I feel like it's following a pattern where the action doesn't really like have a visceral churning feeling inside of me, apart from like one or two episodes. But it's not because the choreography is even bad. It usually has to do with a couple of things. The lighting isn't always great, which I understand is a period show, and they can't just have like conveniently well placed lighting. But you can do better than that. I've seen Daredevil with that kind of modern day grit show that really good contrast in the lighting, so it still looks well lit in certain scenes, even though it's really dark at the same time. So you can use well placed lighting. I know you can. The way it's filmed as well, the camera movements, even when there's good choreography on screen, I just don't care. There's an episode just like season 1 that is more of a bottle episode dedicated more so to action than not. When you watch it, there's, for some reason, like is a montage group of shots where various fights are happening, and again, it didn't resonate with me. And I realized why thinking about it, because of the way it was filmed. I feel like they need to work on their camera work. Maybe if they follow the actor in a tracking shot, or they film it in a certain way. Like the raid comes to mind, the first one, all the corridor scenes with Eco. But even the scenes in the apartments with Mad Dog and other actors. You know what? I was just thinking of Joe Taslim, his fight with Mad Dog. Speaking of Warrior, it just doesn't hit me like it should. Apart from, there's a certain episode where it really does hit me, but that's the exception to the rule, and it hurt. Like, I want to like the show as an action show first and foremost, but it does underwhelm me, and it's starting to feel this pattern. Season 1 is a lot better to me, but maybe that has to do rewatching it in terms of the action and the drama. Because yeah, I had to rewatch season 1 a couple of times to really appreciate it more, both as action as drama. So that's my thoughts on the action and why I didn't care for season 2. The other big issue is character arcs, right? There are character arcs that are fulfilled, you can argue, or people end up in certain places, but it doesn't truly feel earned. It doesn't feel like they slowly evolved into that character. It just feels like certain things were thrown here and there, and then they just suddenly became a different person, or they improved. I'll give an example. Young June finds out something by the end of the season, and understandably, you would expect him to move one way, but instead of zigging, he zags. And it shows, it's a really important moment for me, because for me, I was really surprised by it. Wow, this really shows that this character is changing, maybe for the better, not sure. And there are certain episodes right before the end where him and Father June are having certain talks about being patient, trying to making a smart decision instead of just making the impulsive one, because that's a Young June trait from season 1, right? We know his character to be like fiery, up for a scrap. So the fact that there's a decision, and I guess it's open-ended. It is open-ended, but the fact that he doesn't immediately react a certain way, he does a tiny bit, but you'd expect him to be a bit more violent towards it. And I'm glad on the one hand that he doesn't react that way, but it just showed me that throughout this season, they didn't, to me, tease enough of him truly becoming that type of character. So I was just left feeling with an emptiness. Like this didn't feel every episode like this was what he was gonna become. It started to feel that way maybe closer to the end, the last 3 episodes, but it didn't feel that way from the earlier part of the season that you're foreshadowing this. And I'd appreciate if the episodes were more consistent in character arcs. Another thing that made me believe this was Penny's character. Penny, I'll get to her toy as well. I feel this way of her, and then Leary in the song. Penny's character, she starts the season, certain position of influence, right? She has to say the least, certain blunders that show that she's not as smart as she thinks. But then by the end of the season, I'm left feeling like, you know what? You're still a bit of a naive idiot more than you know. And that's a scary thought. Because, again, it's almost like the reverse of Young June, but it proves the same point to me. Young June was someone who I felt like he changed for the better, but not every episode was, to me, leading up to it, was consistently foreshadowing something like that with his character. But with her, she starts off in a certain position, kind of loses that metaphorical and literal position, but it doesn't feel like the place where she's gotten. It doesn't feel like it's something that was really planned by the writers. It ironic. It was consistent with a character, but it wasn't a good thing for it to happen. It just made me think that she's learned nothing. So again, Young June learned something, Penny doesn't. But in her case, it made the writing of the show feel more sour for me. Like, what are you really gonna do with this character at this point? So, I don't really care about character consistency. Another example, are Toy and also Leary. Leary is another character too. They introduce someone in his life that I'm guessing is trying to humanize him. But to me, in my opinion, maybe it's because of the way I think of season 1. I feel like he was someone who was always nuanced anyway. He wasn't just a violent thug. He wasn't just a hooligan. There was some nuance to him. He did, like that scene in season 1 where the black guys are in the bar and Leary's like, just leave them alone, let them have the drink. He's still like saying, you best be on your way, don't come around here again. But there's something about that and a couple other scenes in season 1 and season 2 a bit by himself with when he's doing what he does. That just remind me, no, this guy he's nuanced enough. I don't need this certain thing that he had in this season. It felt more like a distraction to me, apart from one episode where that connection, that new season 2 connection that he has, aids him in doing something. But apart from that, it's like, I don't feel like this was. I don't feel like this was what could have been done in order for you to end up in the position you're in now by the end of season 2. You could have naturally come there on your own. You could have come there with other factors. There's a conversation he has with Buckley in the season. You could have come there without a certain person introduced to this character in season 2. A Toy, a similar thing. I feel like what they did with her by the end of season 2, it just makes me believe that they're slowing down her progress in the name of maybe to improve other characters. I don't know. Nothing feels truly consistent with her character. I wish where she ended up now was where she was at the start of the season. Start looking for people who can help you expand on your mission. Now, don't just mean in the violent sense if you've seen season 1. There's other things that she clearly wants to do beyond Chinatown. And her and Mai Ling are quite similar in that way. I do like that they pointed out that fact. But she seems a lot smarter. To me, she's maybe the best character in the show, still. But it feels like they've halted her progress and they've made her slow down and act a bit more like a Psalm, like a reckless person. And again, it just makes you think that episode by episode, what was the point of showing her journey if she's in this place now? And then lastly, Assam. Assam is just, I have such a love-hate relationship with him. Still moving reckless. But again, when he gets to where he gets to at the end of season 2, I just think to myself, damn, they should have been teasing this more. I do not understand why it feels like the last couple of episodes have come and it's just changed the dynamic with you. I don't feel like you were becoming this person before the last 2 episodes, in my opinion. That disturbs me. And that, to round it off, is that why I'm so down on this season. I don't hate it. I'll probably watch season 3, but it won't be something that I don't think I'll be critically watching it. I won't be watching it to review it, if I'm honest, guys. Because yeah, it was a downer for me, if I'm perfectly honest. That's me being strict and not being a fanboy and just watching it on an emotional level. Tell me what you guys think down below. Press that subscribe button. Helps me spread more videos to you. Also, share it as well. Helps spread to more lovely people like yourself. And press that thumbs up button if you like this video. Helps out the algorithm. Helps me out. Helps you out. Other than that, signing off. Salute.